Welcome everyone to our full moon ceremony. Tonight we celebrate the sun in the sign of Leo and the moon in its opposite sign, Aquarius. And we're going to start in a little different way tonight. We did this a few years ago, but I came across it again this month as I was researching for this full moon. And I was remembering how the idea of calling in the energy of the four directions, how it felt to me. There was a feeling of being strongly connected to the earth and honoring nature, and the recognition that the energies of nature are always available to us if we call them in. They are here to support us and to make their healing energies available to us. This is an ancient tradition from the First Nations people who invoked these energies at the beginning of all of their ceremonies. In this tradition, each season and each direction contains specific attributes and lessons that can nourish you and your life. These understandings were formed when people were intrinsically connected to the earth and her cycles. At that time, humanity felt a part of the whole and had a depth of communion with nature and life that may seem foreign to most of us today. Perhaps this is because we believe ourselves removed or separate from the earth. But once we learn about the seasons and the earth teachings, we begin to see that the degree of separation is much less than we thought. In this tradition, we are told that any given time in our lives, we are experiencing the energy of one of the four directions. We are living in that quadrant of energy. So as we invoke these energies tonight, notice if you resonate with any one direction more than another. See if you can feel where your energy is most predominant. And see if you can detect which energy holds the most energy, or the energy that you would like more of. We can invoke this aid at any time, and it gives us another tool by which to access the unseen worlds. We will now call upon the four directions: east, south, west, and north. You might want to close your eyes and imagine yourself facing in the direction that we're calling in. We will start with the east. We call the direction of the east element of air, quicksilver, and invisible winds. I call to you if you are Libra, Aquarius, or Gemini, to air, to light and dawn, the rising of the sun above the mountaintops, and the pale peach hue of the sky as it receives the first rays of morning sunlight. I invoke air and movement into my life, the exquisite flow of energy. Teach me, air, to move with ease, to be within and without, above and below, and all around me. As the winds shift and move, I learn the power of graceful allowance. I honor my breath. I honor the life force within me and within you. Guardians and gatekeepers of the element of air, I see you. I summon you. You are here, holding the eastern gateway for us today. Aho. I call to the direction of the south, the element of fire. candle flame, and wildfire. I call to you if you are Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, to fire, to dry heat and desert winds, the sacred lands of our ancestors, the wild sagebrush and native herbs that grow wild and free, and the wild fires that burn untamed, like the passion of lovers who know the power of one touch on bare skin between souls with lifetimes of connection. Teach me, fire, to kindle my flame, to burn bright and burn long, not bound by convention, by boundaries, by rules. I burn, and all around me, as the flames grow, I learn the power of fearless expansion. I honor the fire within. I honor the courage of my wild spirit and yours. Guardians and gatekeepers of the element of fire, I see you. I summon you. You are here, holding the southern gateway for us today. I hope. I call on the direction of the west, element of water, raging rivers and deepest ocean. I call to you if you are Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio, to water, to waves that rise above me and depths that could crush me. You compose me, water. I am you. The rivers and oceans that expand and connect us today are mothers to us, their children feeding, nourishing, bathing, cleansing, drowning, birthing the cycles of life. Teach me, water, to move with the tides, to swim gracefully against the current when needed, not bound by a desire to seek land or shelter, but able to be afloat in trust. I float, I swim, and all around me as the waves rise, I learn the power of my intuition and see that my entire being knows how to surrender when it must. I know how to cry when the release is needed. I honor my deepest emotions and yours. Guardians of the element of water, I see you. I summon you. You are here holding the Western Gateway for us today. Oh. I call to the direction of the north, element of earth, mother, Gaia, continents and oceans, moving in a silent, sacred dance. I call to you if you are Virgo, Capricorn, or Taurus, to earth, to your trees and your wilderness, your animals and your creatures of all kinds, expanses and uncharted spaces, wild and free, the place where all of the elements find their home. All of the places where I have lived and died and lived again. My ancestors, their bones, return to you, my own, one day with theirs, dust and life and death and growth. You hold us all. Teach me, earth, to hold the expanse of my feelings and my work in this life with your grace and your depth, not bound by fear of my own strength, but able to trust that I can hold it all. And I have roots as deep and as far as yours, centuries old, and miles long. I ground, I bury, I root, and all around me as I age and as I learn, I trust that my roots are deep enough to support the expanse of my branches and my fruit. I see that I am capable of holding more than I think. I know how to stand my ground, and I know how to send down deep into you the things I cannot hold. Guardians and gatekeepers of the North, I see you. I summon you. You are here, holding the Northern Gateway for us today. Aho. May the delicate and precious balance of these elements make known in our lives today and always. I call to the spirits and guides of each person in our group. Come closer, encircle and surround us with love, protection, wisdom, and connection as we gather here today. And to the gatekeepers of the four directions, thank you for turning your gaze toward us. We honor your sacred presence and thank you for your guardianship. Aho. Let us sit in the silence for just a moment and let these energies settle into our bodies. Again, bring yourselves gently back. So this month, my friends, we are living in the southern quadrant of the wheel, the fiery energy of Leo. So we might contemplate this month those questions that the fire asks of us. Are we kindling our flame? Are we burning bright? Are we bound by convention, boundaries, by rules? Or do we honor the courage of our wild spirits? These are good questions to live with this month as we open to the fiery energy of Leo. This full moon is the first of 4 straight months of supermoons when the earth appears both bigger and brighter. And it happens tomorrow, Monday at 2:26 p.m. Eastern Time. According to NASA, a supermoon takes place when the moon is within 90% of its closest approach to Earth. And full supermoons are the most brilliant of the year and can look 30% brighter and 14% bigger than how they usually appear. So what does that mean for you and me? Well, we know that our emotional bodies will again be easily triggered, as well as the tectonic plates on our planet. So earthquakes, volcanoes, fires, etc., may impact us again as they already are. The flooding and wildlife and volcanoes and earthquakes everywhere. So be extra cautious and vigilant about staying aligned with spiritual beings so as not to get off track. Stay centered in what you know and who you are. A spiritual being having a physical experience here on earth. Try to develop the observer part of your nature so you can watch events unfold.
Jason and Jackson. So, Wyland, you convinced your mom to try this chocolate challenge on your little brother Jackson after you saw it on AFP.
There's always something, right?
Surprised at what Jackson did?
Yeah, I was. I knew he's always been like sneaky, but I didn't know he'd be that sneaky.
I love it. Mom. Did you see that one coming?
I didn't realize he was going to be that sneaky.
Oops, I guess they muted themselves. Thank you, Debbie. All right, where are we? Sorry for the interruption, but I have to say, Mercury is retrograde. All kinds of strange things are happening. But this is not unusual for me and computers and full moon. There's always some little glitch. Anyway, thank you for hanging in there with me. So try to stay centered in what you know and who you are. A spiritual being having a physical experience here on earth. Try to develop the observer part of your nature so you can watch events unfold without getting sucked into the drama. Which is not to say we close down our hearts. Leo is all about heart energy. So that would not be good to close down, but it is possible to open your heart in compassion without drowning in those feelings. In these challenging times, I realize that sometimes that is difficult, especially in an election year, right? Are we able to be a neutral observer without getting caught in the drama? We try, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So I think it's important to love and accept ourselves, whatever our emotional state. And of course, we're not just opening to our own feelings, but also to the pain and confusion of the world. I remember one time deciding to try to open to the pain of the world in my meditation. I had always been rather afraid that if I tried, I would feel totally overwhelmed. But instead, what happened was that I became full of compassion. My heart opened and all I felt was love and compassion. So one of our tasks this month is to expand our hearts, open them as much as we can, and then love and accept ourselves when we can't. One of the symbols for Leo is the lion. So it takes courage to open our hearts, yes? We seem much more able to listen to our minds. So it's also helpful to remember the saying, don't believe everything you think. Leo is all about discovering and expressing your own authentic self. Its ruler is the sun, which is the star at the center of our solar system, and also corresponds to the solar plexus in our bodies and the heart. Everyone has Leo somewhere in their chart. So we are all impacted by this Leo energy. Wherever you find Leo in your chart, it invites you to listen to your heart and follow your passion. Leo asks us to be who we truly are and not to think about what others might want from us or need us to be. It's living from our center, following our heart, and doing what brings us joy. Stephanie Austin has this to say about Leo. The word Leo comes from the ancient Greek word for lion, a creature long associated with sovereignty and power, courage and integrity, protection and wisdom. Felines of all kinds exemplify how to take charge of our lives, to act on our inner guidance rather than the demands of others, to pounce on opportunities, and to otherwise rest in conscious awareness. Lions were sacred symbols of the goddess in Egypt, portrayed in the Sphinx, Sekhmet, Bastet, and other deities. Images of lions as guardians are seen throughout China, Tibet, Japan, and in India, and represent one of the guises of Lord Vishnu, who protects and preserves cosmic order, unquote. The exoteric mantra, when we say exoteric, we're talking about the personality aspect. The exoteric mantra for the Leo personality is, let other forms exist. I rule. As we move out of the amorphous, instinctive energy of Cancer, we take the next step on our evolutionary journey through the zodiac. The Leo energy is all about self-determination. He must go through the long process of developing a self. He must learn to individuate. His fiery, dynamic energy initially drives him to seek power and influence. He wants prestige, rank, and position. He wants to be noticed. This is who I am, and from this position of power, I rule. Remember, this is the personality speaking. Looking always outside of himself for recognition, he needs constant confirmation of his worth. The false self is thus created, and in that creation, he can become isolated and alone, afraid that if anyone knew who he really was, he would not be accepted. He's a natural leader and can use his dynamic energy to achieve much in the world. But at this level of the personality, at this level of ego, it will always be for his own benefit. The esoteric mantra, which means the mantra of the person who is connected to their soul, is I am that, and that am I. As the Leo personality begins to feel the impact of the soul upon him, his protective walls begin to disintegrate. His isolation begins to drive him toward more contact, love, and understanding. Now he must learn to open his heart and let the light of the sun shine through him. His authentic self starts to reveal itself as he opens his heart to the larger world. He begins to see himself in everything. This loving inclusivity teaches him to take his power and use it wisely, with love. Love with courage. Love without dominating or manipulating. His ego must now become a servant to the soul. Mute, please, Tommy. Thank you. Aquarius, Leo's opposite sign, is a sign of paradox. He must develop a strong sense of his own unique purpose or role, while at the same time make a unique contribution to the community. Aquarius is an air sign, so the focus of his energy will be on the mental body. He's a distributor, a networker. He must learn to integrate his rational, logical mind into his higher mind, the mind that honors diversity, equality, and interconnectedness. And this will be the predominant energy that will manifest in the new Aquarian age that we are moving into. So the movement of these two energies must be from me, the individualistic Leo, to we, the interconnectedness of Aquarius. We are charged with somehow mediating these energies and blending them so the best of both signs become available to us when we express them. The best of Leo, open-hearted, radiatory love, and the best of Aquarius, distributing and circulating that love. Leo has to move from self-love into the love of humanity, represented by Aquarius. He has to move from the focus on the individual to the universal. Leo must move from serving not just himself, but in service to the group, the larger whole. Leo is a fire sign, heart. Aquarius is an air sign, mind. So these joined qualities demonstrate as intelligent love. Aquarius as an air sign is impersonal, so it needs the warmth of Leo. Conversely, Leo needs the impersonality of Aquarius to detach from personal love. So these are our challenges this month. This is a time of waking up to the need for others, for an attitude of interdependence, to say to ourselves, it's okay to need someone else, to need our tribe, to lean on each other. We're all in this together, after all. It's also a time to acknowledge our humanitarian impulses. How can we serve? How can we open to more compassion in service to others? Let us prepare now for our meditation. Let us begin by just noticing the natural rhythm of your breathing. In and out, in and out. Let the breath bring you home into the body to relax and become still. Now take a moment to breathe the silent Om into your physical body, allowing the body to become still. Breathing a silent Om into the emotional body, feeling your emotions settle and become quiescent and quiet. Finally, breathing a silent Om into the mental body, allowing the monkey mind to quiet down. And now feeling this alignment and feeling yourself grounded and connected to the earth, I'd like to take you on an imaginary journey. Using your imagination, I'd like you to see yourself somewhere in nature. A beautiful spot that you create in your own mind. See yourself seated on the earth, feeling the energy of the mother supporting you. Look around and notice what your eyes see. Then breathe in the scent of the place. Do you hear any noises? This is your sacred place, a place of beauty and safety. Looking around now, notice that there is a path that calls to you to follow. You stand up and start walking down this path. It leads into the woods. As you walk, feel the trees reaching out to you to welcome you and send them your blessing. Soon you come to a cave that looks inviting. You enter and soon realize this is a sacred place. There are candles placed on the walls, so there's a feeling of gentle light. And you notice that there is a place for you to sit, and you take your seat there. You can feel the presence of divine beings, and you take a moment to call in any guides, teachers, or angels that work with you to come and be with you. Remember that the energy of the four directions is still available to you as well. In the background, you hear the quiet chanting of the Om, and you begin to settle into a deep peace. In this sacred place, surrounded and protected by the great ones, I'd like you to ponder two questions. The fire of Leo, can be used to burn away all barriers to our divine self. So ask yourself, what is keeping you from being your authentic self in the world? We'll be in silence for just a few minutes. Using your imagination now, can you see a picture of yourself in the world, free from these obstacles? What would that look like? What would that feel like? Let us ponder for a few minutes. Feeling this energy of freedom now, I'd like you to consider how you can use this energy in service to your family, your loved ones, and your world. Just think about that for 1 minute. Bringing yourself back now. See yourself getting up from your seat and gently walking out of the cave. Giving thanks to all the beings who supported you on this journey. Find your way back to the path and say goodbye to the trees with gratitude. And return to your sacred place. And take a moment now to re-enter this world gently and come back to your room and open your eyes. I'd like to end our talk with 3 quotes that feel inspiring to me. The first one is from Daniel Scranton. Somewhere, quote, somewhere deep down inside of yourselves, you know who you really are. And it is your life's work, your mission, to find that place within you. And then it is your purpose to live that truth. Some of you may do that through artwork. Some of you may do it through song. Some may do it through creating buildings, books, clothing. And some people just exude that love so that everyone they meet feels the love within them activated when they are in that person's presence. So you see, it matters not what you do, but what really matters is how you do it. And how much of that love you truly are, you infuse into what you're doing. If you're having trouble finding the love that's within you, it's because something is getting in the way. And the something might be fear, it might be sadness, it might be anger or disappointment, it might be a lack of trust. Whatever it is, if you feel into it long enough, you will disintegrate it. You will disintegrate it with your attention to it. And you will find that the love existed underneath it or behind it all along. And that is what you are meant to do. That is why we all exist. And it is what brings the most light to this universe of ours. Light that we may all then enjoy together in harmony with Source. End quote. And this is another quote from someone called Rashani. Do not be dismayed by the brokenness in the world. All things break, and all things can be mended. Not with time, as they say, but with intention. So go, love intentionally, extravagantly, unconditionally. The broken world waits in the darkness for the light that is you. And a final quote from someone named Hiro Boga. And this was the one that resonated with me the most. From the first breath to the last, you become the song you sing. Who are you becoming? Namaste, my friends, and I hope to see you next month. Remember how to turn this off. Oh, here we go. Sorry. Yes.